At MeatEater, one of the most common questions we get is how to gut a deer. This example we have laying right here is a Coues deer buck, desert whitetail. The fundamentals, what I'm showing you right now about gutting, are standard for all horned and antlered game. You can gut it the way I'm gonna show you if you're gonna pack the whole thing out in pieces. You gut it this way if you're just gonna drag it across a 40-acre field to your truck. Learn these rules and then break them all you want to save time later on to do little tricks you learned about on the internet. First step here, let me cut around the anus, and this helps us to have a clean job where everything's gonna come out in one piece. So go all the way around. You see the depth I'm going here. Come down both sides. We cut in there ways and free up the colon, like so. Next step, I'm gonna run this like this, just cutting through hide, not cutting in the muscle. In many states, you have to leave evidence of sex naturally attached to the carcass. So notice that we're gonna go up the side of the scrotum. We're gonna leave the scrotum on here and not discard it while we gut. Now I'm cutting down. Here's the urethra. Cut a little bit into the meat here, down to the bone, and that right there is your pelvis. So I've exposed the pelvis bone on one side. Now I'm gonna come on the other side of this pipe right here, down again through the pelvis. And then my hand now is the ridge of the pelvis on each side. If you cut this, if you open this up, you're gonna spill urine. But I'll peel it back a little ways. I'm gonna sever it up here. So here we have the anus, the lower intestine, everything freed up, the ridge of the pelvis, and the bone exposed on each side. I'm gonna jump up here, and I'm gonna cut through the hide and just join up to my lower incision. Here I'm only going through the hide. If you feel here, I'm on hard sternum. If I run my finger down, that sternum ends right there. At that point, if you're not careful on your knife work, you can puncture the stomach. Here, you're protected by bone, so you don't need to be gentle. I can just go like this, where I got a protection of bone. Now I'm at the end of the sternum. Just very carefully lift the hide up and cut just through hide, leaving the abdominal lining intact. The thing to keep in mind when you're making these incisions we've been working on, if you notice, I'm always going up. So up through like this. And the reason is, if I was to take my knife and cut down, what I'm gonna do is cut little bits of hair into little pieces, and those get all over everything. If I go like this and go inside out, it slips right through the hair without cutting them, and it doesn't make nearly the mess. Now I'm ready to puncture the abdominal lining, and I wanna do it without puncturing the stomach. It's just a wall of muscle right here. So I've got the leather pulled away, like the hide and the hair cut through. It's good to enter right here at the point of the sternum. We're gonna puncture down in there and get all the way through. Okay, there I'm through. I put my fingers in here. My fingers are laying between the stomach and the abdominal lining, and I'm pulling up to pull the abdominal lining away from the intestines and stomach, so I don't nick them with my knife. Lift up. The sooner you do this after killing the animal, the better, because the animal is gonna start to bloat. And when it bloats, everything gets very tight, and it's harder to do this without puncturing anything. I'm cutting this, making this cut all the way back to the pelvis. Now I'm back to the pelvis. At this point, I'm gonna take a bone saw, and I wanna so I'm not nicking the bladder. Look how I got it pulled up, everything out of the way. So I press that away, and then I'm gonna saw on each side of the pelvis bone. You can do one cut. There I cut through half, and here's the ridge, but just to show you how to get a nice big gateway, you can pull everything cleanly through, I'm gonna cut both sides of that bone. Pull that gate out of there. And now we have a wide open path. And also this is gonna aid in the animal cooling later in hot weather, because the thickest part of the deer that's gonna spoil quickest is the stuff in here around the ball joints. By cutting that out, you allow a lot of that heat to dissipate. Back up here, we're gonna split right up the center of the sternum. We're away from the digestive organs, so you don't need to worry as much about spilling anything. open that out. Now, what I wanna do is I'm gonna reach up in here and I'm gonna pull my heart out. This is the sac that the heart sits in, right here. Just nick that sac. Okay, we're gonna retain that. Put somewhere clean. Here's the windpipe. The esophagus coming down. Reach inside. Just cut that. That's freed up. The other thing that's holding you back now is we have the diaphragm. And you're not gonna tear it easily when you pull, so I like to cut the diaphragm on each side. Once the diaphragm's cut, we're ready to pull the organs out. Everything now, it's just laying in there like a bowl of guts. Grab up here at the windpipe, pull. There's the last bit of the diaphragm. Keep pulling down here where it spills through the gateway, and that whole package of guts comes away. Before I get it dirty, I want to free my liver up. These here, kidney, sometimes they're surprisingly good. That has to be skinned later. We can retain it now. The rest of this we don't want. It goes down there. So here we have the gutted out deer. It can begin to cool. Everything's nice and clean. When I'm done, in some ways I think of it as a step in the gutting, because I want to pull the tenderloins out. These are your tenderloins. Just work them away. Let's remove these from the inside. Put them somewhere clean. There you have it. Ready for transport.